Is this thing on? I think it's on. Okay. Hi everyone. I am really new to YouTube. This is my first YouTube channel I've ever made before, so please bear with me. I've talked to a couple of close friends about this recently, and I've been encouraged to open up a little bit more about my journey and share it. So short of you reading a very long blog, because I could probably type for hours, I figured I would start a video and introduce myself, and hopefully you guys can get to know me a little bit better. I currently, if any of you have found this YouTube channel from my Instagram, I have an Instagram page, a fitness Instagram that I started about 2 years ago, January of 2014. Kat Marie Fit. I put the link below if you want to check it out, or if you already know me, hi! Nice to finally meet you in person. I have been really nervous about putting myself out there like this a little bit, but I am currently prepping for my first NPC Bikini Competition, and I keep thinking about wanting to blog more and share more about my journey, and short of writing novels on my Instagram page, which I know probably nobody reads, I am going to start this YouTube channel and share a little bit more about a day in the life and what I do from day to day. So before we dive into that, I kind of wanted to give you a background about where I'm from, who I am, and what makes me me. I'm really nervous doing this, so please bear with me as I ramble on a little bit. If this ends up being kind of long, I'm sorry. I'll try to edit out what I can, but I wanted to be completely transparent and just share a little bit more about myself and why I'm even here in the first place, why I am interested in health and fitness, and what makes me tick. So here we go. So my name is Kat Linton. I am 26 years old, and I currently live in Seattle, Washington. I grew up in Spokane, Washington, which is about 4.5 hours outside of Seattle, and it's a small town, but I loved it. I loved growing up there. I have a younger sister. She's 2 years younger than me, and she lives in Portland. Love Portland. I really wish I could move there, but I love Seattle too much, so that's why I'm here. My sister and I grew up very active. My mom ran marathons. My dad, he was really heavily into bike riding, and my mom used to be a mountain climber. So when we were growing up, there was no shortage of activity in our house. I played a lot of sports. I played basketball and tennis and volleyball, and I loved sports and team activities. So growing up, I was always very active, and when I was in high school, I took a conditioning class, and so that's kind of where I learned to first lift weights, and I didn't really think I would ever go anywhere. I just thought it was one of those courses that you had to take, but I loved it. Felt kind of like a badass, where you're lifting, and the whole goal throughout the semester is to be able to lift double your body weight and squat this, and I loved it. So I remember back then, I never used to like focus in or think anything about my weight so much, because I loved working out, and growing up we ate a lot of processed food. Your typical 90s kid, I drank a lot of soda. I drank soda every day, Coca-Cola, Pepsi. My sister and I ate a lot of chips. It's not something I would normally do now. I mean, I like chips, but I don't just like buy them daily. They're not on my grocery list. I'm gonna close this door because there's traffic outside and it's cold, so sorry. So anyways, we ate a lot of processed food growing up, and my parents didn't really, we weren't very nutritious, you could say. Like, we weren't taught a lot about nutrition. So growing up, I ate a lot of whatever I wanted, and I had a really fast metabolism, like most people do when they're growing up. So when I was lifting weights heavily, I was getting really toned, and then I graduated from high school and I went to college, and like your typical college girl, I gained a lot of weight very quickly. Your freshman 15 or your freshman 20, whatever people want to call it these days, I gained weight, and I yo-yoed a lot. My close friends that know me, they know, they can probably vouch that I have yo-yoed quite a bit and have always been focused in on my weight or trying the newest diet craze. So any of you guys that are watching, please don't make fun of me for this. We'll talk about this later. But anyways, in college, I didn't really know anything about nutrition, and I partied a lot. Like I like to go out on the weekends, I like to drink, and I like to have a good time with my friends, like anybody in college normally would. So I gained weight pretty quickly, and somewhere along the line I snapped, and I had this breakdown, and I felt horrible about myself and my body. None of my clothes fit me, and it was really hard. I ended up, it was kind of a turning point in my life, where the first time in my life I actually questioned the way I looked and how I looked about my body. And all of a sudden, you live in this city where it's a college town. I went to Washington State University, go Cougs. And you live in a college town, and everybody's your age, and everybody looks amazing, and there's beautiful girls and attractive guys, and it's hard to describe the pressure of wanting to constantly feel good about yourself. And when I was there, I developed a pretty, unbeknownst to me, I didn't know it at the time, but I had an eating disorder, and I would restrict my food intake, and I would not eat for hours during the day, and I would get home at night and I would have a salad, and I would go to the gym and I'd come home and have a protein shake, and then right away I would feel bad about eating, and I would try to like make up for it. Like there were things that I did back then that I'm not proud of, but I don't know where along the way I became so focused in on losing weight that it kind of just became part of who I was. And so I tried a lot. I did isogenics for a while because I thought the cleanse and the shakes would help me get lean quickly. And so at the time, because you don't really know I didn't know about health and nutrition, I was looking for a quick fix. And quick fixes are not the answer, because they usually lead to restricting things you love, and they lead to I have a tendency to binge, and I have struggled with binge eating disorder for a very long time. I figured out my triggers are usually when I want things that I love and I don't let myself have them. So when I'm on a diet plan, I'm like, no, I can't have bread, and I can't have alcohol, and I can't have all these things, so I won't eat them. I'll just completely cut them out, and I'll be really good for a week, and then I go crazy. And binge eating is very hard to describe, because you don't ever think, you don't want to think there's anything wrong with you, but when you're in a binge, it's very hard to feel like, you don't feel like you're full. Like you continually eat and you eat and you eat, and afterwards you're sitting there going, what did I just do? It hasn't even been an hour, or maybe a couple hours go by and I'll just have eaten a ton of food, or it leads to this massive amount of guilt, and then trying to compensate. So purging, restricting my intake again, like just, it's hard to describe, but when you're dealing with it, it's difficult, and you don't ever think it's something you can really recover from. So I'm very nervous to be sharing any of this publicly. I mean, this is my first YouTube channel, and we're getting like real personal right now, so I'm just letting you know that I'm trying to keep things like real and honest and open as possible, and give you a little bit of insight about what makes me tick and where I am and why I'm here now. So why I'm even decided to compete in a bodybuilding competition. We'll get to that. So needless to say, long story short, college was a struggle, and when I graduated, my friends who know me really well have known that I've yo-yoed over the years, but I've always kept this very private. I haven't shared this with anyone except my husband, who I love very much. My husband and I have been married a little over a year now. We were high school sweethearts, and this February we will have been together 9 years. February 1st. We met in photography class together in Spokane, and then went to the same college, and then when we graduated we moved to Seattle, and I met my trainer when I moved to Seattle. I started work, and I was still in that cycle of my idea of a good day when I first started work. This is how messed up my nutrition was. I would wake up in the morning and go to work, and I would have a banana. That was breakfast. My lunch would be like a sad salad, and then I would go a few hours during the day, and when I'd get home from work I'd probably have like a piece of bread with some cheese on it and like half a bottle of wine. That's like typical for me, and it breaks my heart to think that that is what I thought would be normal. So I really was sick and tired of feeling like I had to not eat, and I needed there had to be a better way. So I ended up reaching out to a trainer here in Seattle that I met through a mutual friend, and she completely changed my life. My life did a 180 when I met her. I started weightlifting, and this is really when I learned about bodybuilding and the whole competing world and the competition world. But for starters, she changed the way I felt about my body and taught me that there was a better way, that eating whole foods and eating more was really what the body needs to lose weight. And I can't thank her enough to this day about everything that changed my life. And I literally, when I say I did a 180, I did a 180. Like, I was not eating anything and I was going out on the weekends, to when I met up with her, she put me on a pretty strict meal plan. And this is the first time in my life I had ever had like a regimented plan. And so I was taught about, like, when she first wrote out my meal plan for me, I thought, I have to eat all of this? She's crazy. I'm not gonna lose any weight. Like, this is nuts, but okay, all right, I'll go along with it. And so I ate oatmeal and egg whites for breakfast with blueberries, and I had chicken and broccoli and rice for lunch, and I had second lunch. It was like a snack during the afternoon. It was a big meal, big bowl of salad and veggies and rice. And for dinner, I'd have apples and peanut butter, and I'd have protein shakes after I worked out. And when I was training with her, I was training hard. She taught me how to deadlift properly and how to squat properly, which I'm still working on. I'm not perfect, and every time I get together with her, I love training with her because she's still like, no, do this better. But it's good to hire someone who really knows what they're doing and knows the ins and outs and what your body needs. So I sought help from someone who knows what they were doing, and it was the best thing I could have done for myself, because the first week I was working with her, I remember I dropped something crazy like 4 or 5 pounds, and I thought, this is insane. I'm eating double what I normally do, and I'm sore everywhere. Like, what is going on? And something just clicked with me. Like, you should not starve yourself. Like, you need food. You need food. If you're going to be working out and working out hard or working out, you have to eat. That's how the body is really smart, and it knows what it's doing. So needless to say, I did a complete 180, and after a few months of doing this, I saw results that I wanted, but I was stuck. I was stuck between who I used to be and who I was, and there was no balance in between the middle of it. And my husband can attest to this. Like, I was just, a meal plan for me didn't work from the standpoint that I lost the weight and I saw the results that I wanted, but I was so regimented in my bubble, I didn't know flexibility. I didn't have any balance, and I snapped pretty hard. And where a pendulum swings hard one way, and I was eating everything on my plan, and I thought, I kind of was in the mindset of anything not on the meal plan was bad food. And so I swung really hard off the plan, and I just was like, I can't do this. This isn't who I am, and I know how to work out, and I can eat clean, and I'll just do this on my own. And I think I burnt out. I hit a wall, and I completely fell back into old binging habits. And so it really freaked me out. Like, I gained weight pretty quickly, and I gained all the weight back that I had lost, and I just thought to myself, this is nuts. Like, I was reverting back to old habits where I wouldn't want to eat anything, and I wouldn't want to, I'd work out, like, and I'd try to do like the weightlifting like I had done before, but I just was so burnt out on chicken and rice and veggies, and I missed my regular food. And I thought, I was so twisted in my head that I never thought I would be normal again. I saw people that I worked with that I thought looked great, and they looked amazing, and they were eating ice cream and candy and going out with friends, and I just thought, I don't feel normal. Something is wrong with me. And I ended up seeking help from a professional and just talking through all of this stuff. And I still can't believe I'm sharing all of this with you guys, but I just want you to know where I'm coming from and what I've been through, just to kind of give you an example, especially if anyone has ever struggled with anything like this. The best advice I'd have would be to talk to somebody, get some help. What ended up ultimately helping me the most was telling my husband what I was going through and talking to some friends about it, and just realizing, like, okay, you are not alone in all of this. There's got to be a better way, and you're not crazy. Like, you're not crazy. This is not normal. So at the time, I just kind of broke up with anything that had to do with health and fitness, and I didn't care about anything anymore. I just wanted to feel better, and I wanted to feel normal and like my old self again. And after a while I got better. I got a lot better. The binging quit. I had gained a little bit of weight, but I hit a plateau to where it was pretty constant. Like it was even, like I wasn't gaining anymore, and I was eating normally, but I wasn't restricting anymore. And around August of 2014, my husband and I got engaged, and I was so excited, and I couldn't wait to start getting in shape for the wedding. And at the time we had our engagement pictures taken, I just remember looking at the photos and thinking, I don't recognize myself anymore. Like I was never heavy per se, but I didn't like the way that I looked again, and I started having those weird thoughts, and I was just like, okay, this sucks so much. I'm tired of feeling bad about myself, and I'm a smart person. I'm gonna do what I can in my power to educate myself, and I'm gonna fix this, and I'm not gonna starve myself to get into a wedding dress again. I just won't. And I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna enjoy time with my friends. And at this time, I had been on Instagram for a long time, and I had my own like regular Instagram page, and I'd been following a couple of my Fitspirations or whatever people call them these days. But I was following a few of my favorite fitness Instagram pages, and I started hearing about this diet called If It Fits Your Macros. And what struck me most about it is that everyone kept saying, it's not a diet, it's not a diet. I can have all these things that I love, and I'm losing weight. And I thought, this is crazy. Like, you can't just have a whole day's worth of like cereal and Pop-Tarts and whatever and like just like lose a bunch of weight, which you can't, by the way, but that's not the point of If It Fits Your Macros. So I ended up reaching out to my trainer now, my coach online. Her name is Lauren Eyrich. She lives in Portland, Oregon, and she started working with me on a macro plan for If It Fits Your Macros. And you have a certain amount of carbs, protein, and fat that you can fit in on a daily basis. And I could talk forever about this. I'll probably do another blog on it another day. But long story short, I still have like my lunches where I have chicken and rice and veggies, but I also fit in things that I love. Like I have Pop-Tarts. I have a bowl of cereal. If I want cereal, I have cereal, and I fit it into my meal plan. My binging tendencies have almost completely gone away, and I'll say this, binge eating disorder doesn't ever completely go away. I don't really fully believe that you can fix something like that once you've gone through it, but I recognize my triggers, and I'm working with someone, and everyone around me knows me well enough to know that I have to be able to have flexibility in my life. So once I found this, my whole life changed, and I love it. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I've been doing If It Fits Your Macros for a little over a year. I used it to prep for my wedding, and it got me in really good shape, and I could still go out on the weekends with my friends and fit in things that I love. I love it so much. I email with my coach weekly. I send her check-in pictures and weight and how I'm feeling and what my workouts were like that week. And she just adjusts my numbers every week for me, and I just have to make sure I hit those numbers. I log everything in MyFitnessPal, and it works for me. So that's just a quick overview. Currently, I am using it to get ready for my first NPC Bikini Competition. I will be competing on April 1st in Vancouver, Washington. I'm currently 9 weeks out, and I can't wait. I am so excited. I have so much I want to share with you guys, but for now I'm very hungry, so I'm going to close out this vlog, and I'm going to go eat some food, and I'll probably try to vlog a little bit more throughout the weekend. Really excited to share more with you guys about who I am. I'm meeting up with my old trainer tomorrow. We're going to go train at my gym, so hopefully I'll be able to get some clips of our workout and post those in here. If you have any questions, please subscribe below. This feels so weird saying all of this. I've never done YouTube, but please subscribe. Hit like, hit dislike. I don't care. I'm just here to share about who I am, and excited to continue on this journey. So thanks for bearing with my rambles. I look forward to sharing more with you guys in the future. Bye!